Holy Week is upon us. All these weeks of our Lenten prayer, fasting, and almsgiving have prepared us to enter more deeply into the saving mysteries of this most important week of the year. And this week will begin today with Palm Sunday. Tomorrow we will have the Chrism Mass at the cathedral, where we priests, along with the Archbishop, will renew our priestly promises, and where the Archbishop will bless the holy oils that will be used for the sacraments throughout the year. And here in the parish, we'll resume our celebration on Wednesday with the celebration of Tenebrae, which, as you may have read in the last week's bulletin, comes to us from our monastic tradition as an evening of prayer based around the Psalms and the Lamentations of Jeremiah. I invite us all to participate in that beautiful prayer service. And I was told that Bishop Peter Smith said on Mater Dei Radio the other day that he is going to be here with us. So we have that to look forward to as well. The Sacred Triduum proper begins on Holy Thursday with the Mass of the Lord's Supper, which we'll have at 7 p.m., where we will celebrate the gifts of the priesthood and the Holy Eucharist, praying that our Lord continues to form us into a Eucharistic parish. And then after this Mass, we'll have adoration of the Blessed Sacrament all the way until midnight here in the chapel at our altar of repose. And after Mass, there's sign-ups there. You can sign up for the various hours from the end of Mass until midnight. On Good Friday, we'll have Stations of the Cross at noon, and then the Good Friday liturgy that evening at 7. Well, we will spend time adoring the cross upon which is hung the salvation of the world. On Holy Saturday, we walk through the silence of our Lord in the tomb and his descent among the dead. And all Holy Week converges on the Easter Vigil, where the light of Christ scatters the darkness of sin and literally the darkness of the church as the lit Easter candle is brought in. And those who have been preparing all year to enter the church in her sacraments are baptized, confirmed, and receive his body and blood for the first time. All that being said, I strongly encourage all of us to participate in these liturgies. You know, this is the most important week of the year, and so we can't go through this week as if it were just any other week of the year. To show up today and then to show up next Sunday as if nothing else happened, we're not getting it. We need to walk through the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus. As a famous line that's attributed to the philosopher Søren Kierkegaard, he said this: Jesus Christ is not looking for admirers, he's looking for followers. Or another way of saying it, the Lord is not looking for spectators, he's looking for participants. Because that's the key to the Christian life, is that once and for all passion, death, and resurrection 2,000 years ago is to be lived out in my own life. And how else can that be lived out in me except by participating in the sacred action of the liturgy? Because it is God's action, his action is not one that's once and goes away like ours. It's an action that is forever. And so this is what happens in the sacred liturgy, is that those events of 2,000 years ago are present now. We are brought to those moments. And it's so powerful, the power of the Lord's grace to transform our lives. You know, and I sense that something has been happening this Lent in the parish. The number one indicator, the hundreds of confessions that have happened. You know how we expanded our confession times. I didn't have one break in any of those times. And in fact, yesterday, 3 hours before the 5:30 Mass, people started coming at 2:30 to give their confessions. That tells me that something's going on, something seismic, something deep in the parish. And as usually happens during this week, often get calls from people saying some sort of disturbance, spiritual something going on in the house, something, people coming forward saying, I'm being bothered by evil spirits. And that's true, because guess what? These mysteries are so powerful, it disturbs the order of evil. Why? Because Jesus Christ founded a kingdom, and we are to reconquer the world for him. And we are taking back what is ours, what the Lord has made for us. And we take it back through the power of his cross and resurrection. And so this is the invitation, to walk through this week, not as an admirer, but as a follower. Not as a spectator, but as a participant. Our Lord is going to Jerusalem. So who's going to go with him?